Welcome, everyone. Really no game to review, so just, starting on the Notre Dame, traveling up to Notre Dame this week will be a big challenge. Of course, our first road game, but an exciting challenge, playing a great football team who, again, came here last year, won a good, hard-fought game, and they really made the plays down the stretch run, down through the middle and the end of the fourth quarter to make a difference in the game. They look like a very similar team this year as they did a year ago. Their quarterback, Tommy Rees, is a guy with great experience. You could tell just watching him play, he's very comfortable, throws a great ball. The difference in their offense is really just the difference of, the quarterback's ability to run. Other than that, they're still throw the football well. We've got good receivers, good backs, tough, good offensive line. All of that still the same, and a lot of the same structure, and really with play calling and how they run their offense is really very similar to a year ago. Defensively, they're still very good, very physical up front, structurally very sound, disciplined in how they play. So still continue to play. They play very much the same way they did a year ago, but really sound, very good football team. So exciting atmosphere, of course, going up there to play. Our players, of course, we need a good week of practice. I thought we really took advantage last week of the off week of getting a lot done with our game plan and getting players familiar with them and working it in practice. And there was a lot of good work against each other, going good against good, just trying to keep ourselves sharp and actually really not just sharp, but trying to make improvement coming into this week. So it'll be a big challenge, and I'll open it up for questions.
In this game, you really know a lot about your team.
Well, yeah, until the next one, it's
on the road for the first time.
Sure. I mean, we'll need to show character and step up and hopefully play well. It'll be a big challenge. Yeah.
Nick's dominant player in the middle for them. How important is it to neutralize him, or to some degree, what can you do to?
Very important. He's a lot to handle in there. You've got to block all those guys up front. Are very disruptive to run the ball or to protect the passer. Defending and protecting and blocking those guys is a big challenge.
You run the ball pretty good here. Why do you think you'll be better this year? Because you only had like 15 yards rushing against them last year.
Well, hopefully, a lot of reasons. We are blocking better, identifying who we're blocking in a stronger and better, more consistent way. And we've been more persistent on trying to run the football, so hopefully we'll be able to have some success doing it.
There's been talk that they haven't played as well defensively. They were pretty strong the other day, and they've missed a couple of people, but overall,
they're still an excellent defense, for sure. Like I said, I appreciate as a coach their structure, their fundamentals, their discipline, and how they, you just rarely see a guy not in position, and so you could tell they're coached well, and they play hard.
Next year, there's the 14 playoff starts. What have you been told about strength of schedule that's going to go into that formula?
Well, I've been told it's going to be more of a factor. How much of a one, I don't know yet. There's been very little out on how that's going to all go, so your guess is as good as mine.
Eichert said a few minutes ago that this game could point the season in one of two directions. Is there something to this being a signature game? Are you a signature win? You haven't had one of those in a couple of years. I mean, Texas is always big. Several games.
All of a sudden, Texas doesn't matter, or Big 12 championships don't matter.
Well, Eichert says that this game could point the season one way or another.
You can talk to Gabe about whatever. I don't look at it that way.
Okay, my question is there any truth to that? Do you feel like that way?
No, I don't believe there is. I believe winning this game one way or the other isn't going to do anything for the rest of the season. I mean, that's not the best way to say it. Obviously, when you win, it gives you momentum. But at the end of the day, it's not a conference game. We've played one conference game. There's a big schedule still in front of us. So it's just another one in that long line of trying to get another one.
And you guys went up there in '99. It was your first year as a head coach. You guys were 3-0. What did you know about your team before you went into that stadium, and what did you maybe learn from your team?
More than anything, I remember us leading in the third quarter. And you guys correct me, I don't know, was it 17 or 16? 16, and looking around and seeing too many happy faces, meaning I felt there were too many guys who thought, you know, that they had this won, and really realizing that we had not really learned how to truly compete yet for 4 quarters, and the realization too. I remember telling the coaches in the meetings the next day that, listen, they hadn't been ahead of anybody like that on the road before. They don't know how to handle it, and we've got to teach them how to handle it. Teach them how to finish games and to win a game like that, because those guys hadn't been in that situation.
How have you, as a head coach, evolved since that day?
Well, I learned not to allow one guy to rush a punt when you're on the 50-yard line, and not to second guess myself. I initially called punt safe and listened to someone else, a few other guys, when I shouldn't have, and to me that started all their momentum. We roughed the punter with a one-man rush. We had a return on. We weren't going anywhere because we had a fair catch it anyway. I haven't let I still wake up at night on that one. You guys think I forget? I don't forget.
That game seemed to, Andrew was asking about pivotal points in a season. That might have been a pivotal point in that season, or even in your career, maybe, because you got up on the road against a good team, showed that your team had talent, showed the guys, hey, you can do this. You're not as far back as you thought you were maybe last year at this
There's
point.
truth to that, in that we did gain some confidence, but you have to win when you're in that position, and maybe we won some other games down the road, or even in the next year, having experienced the bitterness of that when you were up in such a positive way, and not and didn't know how to finish it.
And a week later, same thing happens against Texas. You guys get up and lose.
Yeah, that was early though. That was in the first quarter or first 2 quarters.
Did they
and
learn between those 2 games though?
Well, when you're in the late second half, they still hadn't learned. They were still smiling when they were up 17 in the first half.
Bob, can you talk about Reese? And the other day he went deep a lot. I don't know if that was some of Michigan State's what they did defensively, or if that's been what they've done this year, but you're challenged in that regard.
Well, they're going to put it up, in every game, a good number of times. He throws an excellent ball, and they have confidence in those receivers going up and getting it. So definitely that's something we're aware of and need to be able to defend. Some of it might have been exaggerated by the fact that Michigan State was up on top of them virtually every snap. So, they may have felt, their opportunities more that way. We'll pick and choose when we are and when we aren't, and just as they do. So.
Speaking of lessons or conclusions drawn from a long ago game against Notre Dame, last year what I remember about it was you guys having a lot of success moving the ball, but just not getting a lot for it. Not coming back with the points you want.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do between 1 year, and this year about that, but what are the conclusions drawn from that?
A big factor in that was third down conversions. We weren't nearly as good as we needed to be. They were better at getting off the field or getting the stops, and that was a big factor in just what you said. Critical third downs when you're about to move into scoring position or keep a drive going, you've got to be able to convert those.
What's your injury situation?
I don't know that we have one. I think we're all good. DJ Ward's back practicing. Kendall's back. Trevor, when I talking to the trainers, is set to go to practice today.
Well, you said the biggest, maybe the only major difference between Notre Dame offense last year, this year is quarterback run game. Reese not
Well,
Mine like Golson.
his ability just to pull it down and make something with his legs, you know, when there isn't much there.
Is the same thing true of your offense? In terms of, is quarterback mobility the biggest difference between these two offenses, your offense the last 2 years?
Well, our quarterback is different than what we've had the last couple of years, if that's what you're asking me. Yes, we have the ability with Blake to have, you know, more quarterback run game, or him, you know, the opportunity to scramble a little better than some of the guys we've had in the past.
A big thing that was played up last year going in this game was Notre Dame not giving up a rushing touchdown. And Blake, you know, the belldozer coming in a couple of situations and being able to finally do that. Does Blake going through that have anything to do, you think, with his ability to maybe handle this game on the road, first game?
I think that game, along with all the other experiences he's had the last couple of years, being out there in critical situations, I think, yes, does give him, you know, an opportunity to be able to handle this in a really positive way and to not be shaken at all by it. You know, he's a great competitor, and like I, you know, he's been in a lot of critical, important situations, and he's handled them well. So I would say, yes, it does give him, you know, an advantage that way. He's not like maybe a true first-time guy out there playing, because, you know, for the last few years he's been in a lot of big games in those kind of situations where it matters his read or where he goes with the ball, and it isn't just everyone blocking for him and he falls forward. You know, he's got to time it up right. He's got to look for the space, and he's done a good job with that.
Was there anything that you saw in his first game? I know he was a little long on some of his deep passes. Anything that you felt like was nerves with him?
No. As far as nerves go, no. I thought he was excellent. And, you know, and he throws a great deep ball. Believe me, so we've got confidence in his deep ball that he'll, you know, that he might have got excited on one the other night and just overthrew it. But I believe the more he plays, the more those are going to be where you need him to be.
Did that surprise you at all that he was so calm in his first start?
Not really, because of what I've just explained, his experience in a lot of big situations.
Not to beat Blake to death, but is there any sort of optimum mindset for him to have? Because he should exit the game he just played with all kinds of confidence, but he's going into a very different atmosphere. And so, you know, where does he need to be at his best?
I believe a quarterback should always be just very balanced, and in fact, we've always told our guys, even here, and whether it's big games at home or no matter where they are, let everybody else can do all the being excited and jumping around. You just stay over here and stay cool and be ready to execute. You know, it's all about being calm, being cool, ready to be precise in how you're playing with your reads and where you're going with the ball, and you know, communication at the line, and, you know, run the offense. You don't let everyone else be excited and nervous. You just stay cool about it.
Are you sort of describing the way he was against Tulsa in doing
Yeah,
that?
but, you know, that's whenever you've seen most of our quarterbacks do well, regardless of the situation, that's the mindset.
Bob, talk about the option, if you will, and how that may help, having that at your disposal against a team this good on defense, where you were frustrated some last year.
Well, sometimes, again, when executed properly, you just have the extra guy with the football being the quarterback. So, you know, if you can block everybody up front and the quarterback keeps it, then you got an opportunity, hopefully, for some guys in the secondary have to come tackle him, which hopefully takes 5 yards, 6 yards here and there, you know, and then the ability to you know, hopefully execute an option here or there where you can get someone that takes the wrong guy, and hopefully you take advantage of it.
Bob, you said earlier that you guys have been, I guess, more adamant about running the ball this year. How much did that game?
I said persistent.
Persistent, okay. But how much did that Notre Dame game last year, where you run the ball 21 times for 15 yards, how much did that kind of open everybody's eyes that you had to be better at that?
Well, it wasn't just that game. I mean, there were other instances where we felt we needed to run it better than we had. But, you know, in that game we did throw it well. We did take advantage of what they were doing and move the football throwing it. But, again, you know, you know, as much as anything, that game's, what, 10-6 going into the fourth quarter and ends up 13-13, and then they made every play after that, whether it be the interception, the long pass, whatever. So anyway, well, you know, we'll need to run it better.
Is it more imperative because last year you had Landry, who's a senior quarterback, been through a lot of stuff, and as good as Blake looked against Tulsa, it's just one game. So does that make the running game even more important this year?
You know, probably to some degree. It's always important, and you know it will be in this game.
Your tailback situation, what's going to be the rotation?
We'll
Damien
see.
Coming back.
Yeah, we'll see how, you know, those guys practice through the week and what, you know, Coach Heupel, Norvell, and Coach Gundy feel, you know, that's best.
Is Damien, he'll play in this game?
Yes.
You see a young guy like Keith Ford who is physical. How much do you factor that into being more physical as a team running the ball? I mean, how much can he add along with the line? Things like
He can add some, but you know, Damien's not physical. Damien's right there with him, you know, when it comes to being able to run in a powerful way. So, you know, it makes a difference to some degree, definitely in some runs.
But in '99, had you been to a game at Notre Dame before '99?
I had not.
That's your first, and I guess only. Is that it? It's the only time you've been to a game. Did you think it's
Hard to believe for an Irish Catholic like me, from 4 hours away,
yeah,
right?
one state over.
Yep.
Was it a pretty cool experience? Just the tradition of it all. I mean, you've talked about you like stadiums and that kind of thing. Was that,
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Nothing more cool about pulling up in a bus, walking in a bad visitor's locker room, and going on a field. We do it all the time, and I'm not. Believe me, I'm giving, you know, Notre Dame respect. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying, as a coach, you don't get to be. You're not involved in that part of it. You know, in other words, once you're pulling up, you're pulling up to compete, and you just don't think of those things, or you don't really care about what the band may look like or anybody else. You just kind of get in your work mode and go, you know. So
My previous question about how you've evolved as a coach, you mentioned your thoughts on punt block and stuff like that, but since that '99 season, since your first season, how have you changed as a coach? Have you become a better recruiter? Maybe you don't like recruiting as much, or some of the rules have changed, or?
I've just gotten older. I'm still the same as I've been. That's why I say that a lot. People don't change, they just get older.
You find you're more flexible maybe, you know, when you get a big tailback like Adrian Peterson, you want to run the football. You get
Well, I think we've
like
always
Sam.
tried to play to our players' strengths here. And
As a defensive coordinator, you probably couldn't do that, could you? Before you became a head coach, I'm saying.
yeah, but I've been a head coach now for 15 years.
Right, that's
So
what I'm saying is how have you kind of evolved or changed?
I haven't. I feel I'm pretty much doing things the same as I did in '99 and 2000 as I am now.
Talk a little about your thoughts on your defensive line.
More tolerable of you guys, maybe, but
Really?
yeah,
You sure?
not always, I guess.
Your thoughts of your defensive line play going into this game against a physical Notre Dame?
I'm very excited and pleased with our D-line play to this point. I think these guys have done a great job of making plays, being disruptive. We're giving them more opportunities to be disruptive, so it'll be an important part of this game for sure.
You're playing a lot of 3-3-5 so far, and it's obviously because of the style of teams you play on a consistent basis.
I'd
That's not
prefer
what-
more 3-4-4, but
Oh, okay, but whatever. But Notre Dame is not that.
yeah, they are.
I mean, Notre Dame is more a traditional type.
Defense?
No.
Oh.
Notre Dame's offense.
Oh,
It's not Baylor, Texas Tech, OSU, the kind of teams you
we haven't
generally
played those guys yet either.
So, but my question is, we're going to see a four-man front. Is there a good chance we'd see a four-man front?
There's a good chance, but I'm not going to give you any percentages on it.
You said
So-
that you mentioned last year 13-13 tie, and they make every play after that. Would you welcome a similar circumstance with the opportunity for you to make every play, or maybe not? You'd like those first three quarters.
Well, it all matters. I mean, you'd want to play well all three quarters, but at the end of the day, if you're in that situation, you want to be the ones making the plays down the stretch that that win the game.
Bob, I know you've talked about this before, but what did you see from Blake when he wasn't named the starter that you liked, didn't like, otherwise?
Yeah, he just kept a positive attitude about him and a positive vibe about him, because what I appreciate is I know how connected he is, being older, and older guys having more of a relationship or a connection with them. He could have not done that, and it would have rubbed off on all of them. But you never saw that, and the older guys accepted the decision, accepted Trevor, accepted Blake was a team guy, stayed with it, and then he has his opportunities, and and he tears it up. So which we're all pleased about. But that he could have been a negative, or could have had some negative vibes with other guys that are key people for us. And again, it's just not him. It's really not his nature, and you appreciate that about a young guy that's that's a team guy and looked for his opportunity and was ready for it.
You said that your receivers were struggling going into the Tulsa game. When you were lined up with 3 and 4 wide, did that help them? Yeah,
and we had some guys then in some more familiar spaces too, with Jalen and Sterling inside. That's where they've played the most. But still, regardless, that's what we're trying to practice harder and more and to get better, that even when they're outside, we've got to be able to execute and make plays. So I just thought the whole group really showed, what they're capable of in that game, and we need it again, this game and as we keep going. They need to step up and make plays.
Jalen had a record day, I think, against them last time. Coach Kelly said coming in, we'll give them yards but not points. It seems like it might be a little bit different matchup this time, because last year it was a bunch of the dumping underneath. Any thoughts?
Well, they're very, you could tell as they play, they're deep and keep everything in front of you. So you've got to be able to take the intermediate stuff and underneath stuff when it's there, and then pick up key third downs, and then you got to execute in the red zone. You got to be able to get the ball in, in those opportunities.
Bob, Coach Montgomery's coaching this game 2 years in a row now at Michigan. Can you talk a little bit about the job he's done with the line and just the rapport he's built with those guys?
He's a great communicator. Players have really, taken to him. He great motivator, very smart coach, and the guys are playing with better and better technique. There is a lot of ability with those guys. I'm not pointing into them, just saying because they're young and haven't played a lot, you're now seeing it more and more. But they still have a lot of growth in front of them because they are young and inexperienced still. But I like the way they're improving, and he's doing a great job, and they're doing a great job listening to him.
On the inside, once you get past Jordan Phillips, who's next in line? Next couple guys in line.
Torrey Peterson, Jordan Wade, and Quincy Russell.
Somebody was talking earlier about how when you go to these games, you take it all in. Do you talk to your players about something like, because you don't play Notre Dame, especially at their place, Pollyanna. Do you talk to them about soaking all this in, or do you just treat it like another road game?
Treat it like another road game. I was asked that earlier today. I mean, we were just 2 years ago walked into Florida State too. I mean, we're going to walk into Tennessee in a couple of years. We've been all over the map. I mean, we've been out to Oregon, we've been to Alabama. We've got Ohio State at some point here coming up. I mean, so yeah, it's another game, and all that matters again when all the fields are pretty much the same. Their grass is a little higher, but the rest of it's it's all matter. All that matters is what's between the lines during the game.
Outside of a bowl, not counting a bowl, have you either here or previous? Have you ever done any tourism on a road trip? UCLA, when you went to UCLA in 05, did you go to Universal Studios or anything?
No.
Don't laugh. In '90 they did go, so the Sooners did go. So
they went to Snellmerch. They went to wineries in Missouri.
you're getting silly.
Oh, they did. They did. kid. I was on that.
No,
truck
we-
when they were
we-
playing Texas, Missouri. In Missouri.
All we do is when we land, generally, we'll take the team over to whatever stadium we're playing at. They check their pads, make sure all their stuff's there. We're not missing something. And then we go out, do a little substitution deal on the field so they're a little bit familiar with the stadium. And that's it. You know, we're not, we don't go on these trips to tour or to go to wine country or anywhere else. So we're pretty much there just to get ready to play. And again, that's why I think the bowl experience is critical. Not critical. It's so popular and positive for the student athlete because so many of them come from areas and don't have opportunities to, like when you go to the Rose Bowl, walk around Hollywood and experience LA in a positive way like that, or to, you know, to go to Miami for the Orange Bowl and stay in a 5-star hotel and get treated that way. They haven't had that chance. So it's really a positive experience when you can give them those experiences.
So you do have a walkthrough this week also?
No, well, we'll land and then we'll go over to the stadium, check our pads, and walk out and do a substitution, whatever. But we're always, you know how coaches are, we're always worried someone's spying on us, so we won't do our walkthrough while we're there. Surely they wouldn't do that, but we never know, so. Anyway, so no, we never do our walkthrough at the stadium, but we go and do a little substitution, make sure we're all good that way, and then we do our walkthrough in the parking lot at the hotel or somewhere.
Oklahoma and Notre Dame have played 10 times, and Notre Dame has won 9 of those meetings, which just seems impossible given the history of this program. Do you feel the weight of any of that? And I promise you your fans do. If it's 13-30 in the fourth quarter, they're worried something bad's going to happen just because of the history of the series. Do you feel any of that
No.
in the moment?
No. I've only been a part of a couple of them, and those really don't have any weight on what happens in this one. So whether you won them or lost them, you treat them each as their own, you know, it's its own opportunity, and we're anxious about this one.
Their defensive line is so formidable. Your offensive line has played well at this point. Can you talk about that matchup, which would be really a cool inside the game matchup to watch on Sunday?
Yeah, it's a big matchup. You know, if you're going to, as I started earlier, if you're going to run the ball or protect the quarterback, you know, it all, you know, that all starts with those, you know, 5 guys up front and, you know, against their D-line and then, you know, fullbacks and tight ends as well, dealing with them. So it's a big part of the game, and they are, you know, an excellent group up there that Notre Dame plays with.
Bob, you said the disparity doesn't come into play between the lines, obviously, but have you heard anything from some of the guys that suffered some of these losses, even the historic loss in '57? Obviously, they would like to see, if not for you, but for them to get vengeance on Notre Dame.
No, I haven't heard from any of them. So.
They sent letters. Didn't a couple of them send letters last year?
Yeah, they may have. I don't really remember. I can't do anything for everybody else. I'd kind of like to win for our team and for us, and that's plenty. I'm not worried about everybody else.
Good contingent from Youngstown coming over.
Oh yeah.
You don't get to that close.
No, there's a big group.
Coach, not sure if you saw any of the news on the APU this weekend. Some players wore some stickers on their helmets about the All Players United effort by the NCPA. What's your stance on that?
I don't have one.
Anybody else?
All right. Thank you.
You're gonna listen.